Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Sterling Live. My name is Caitlin Brower. I am Sterling's social media manager, and Sterling Live is our live series every single week on LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube. Today, we're coming at you live on Tuesday, August 31st at 1 p.m. Eastern. I feel like it's been a while since we've done a Tuesday. Like that was always like our day of the week, and now we're kind of all over the place. But happy to be back here again on a Tuesday at 1 p.m. on LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube. And as you can see, I have two great guests with me today. So I will not push this, any further introducing everything. We're going to get into things. I'm going to introduce my guest. I'm super excited that today I'm here with Kim Johnson. You guys have seen her before. She's been on the show. But just as a reminder, she's a client success partner for our Sterling volunteers. And then also today we have Julie Wendell with us, VP of Program for the Girl Scouts of Western Washington. So thrilled to have the two of you on today. And for our audience, we're talking about volunteer recruitment and ongoing engagement. So before we get into it, I want to have Kim and Julie, give a little intro for themselves as well. So Kim, why don't we get started with you?
Awesome. Yeah, thank you. So like you said, I've been a client success partner here at Sterling for about 7 years. And of that, I have managed the Girl Scouts USA partnership for about 6 years. So always excited to get on and chat with one of my councils and get to learn a little bit more about what they're doing.
We are so excited to have this episode. We've been talking about it for a really long time. So I'm so happy it's finally here. And Julie, we're happy you're finally here with us. So can you go ahead and introduce yourself to our audience?
Yeah, absolutely. Hi, everyone. My name is Julie Wendell, and I am the Vice President of Program at Girl Scouts of Western Washington, and I use she, her pronouns. I have been with the organization for 13 years, and in my role, I support a team who designs and delivers programs for our youth members. So anything from STEM to teaching about life skills, college and career readiness, entrepreneurship, and diversity, equity, and inclusion.
That's great. And I heard a dog barking. So if any dog wants to come on the show today, I'm ready. That's our third guest, actually. So I do love that for sure. And that's great. So again, thank you both for joining me today. As I mentioned earlier, our topic is volunteer recruitment and ongoing engagement. So let's go ahead and get into it. So I do, the first section is geared towards you, Julie. So you're going to be talking a lot here. So get ready, get those vocal cords ready for us. But we want to look, a little bit of an update, with the ongoing pandemic and just understand a couple of things right now. So what is the current state at the Girl Scouts of Western Washington amid the COVID-19 pandemic?
Yeah, absolutely. So, we put a lot of thought and effort into pivoting to virtual experiences for both our youth and adult members. And I would say that we have been really successful in creating some meaningful and engaging opportunities in the virtual space. And then as we're slowly and safely returning to in-person programs, we're looking at offering opportunities with smaller group sizes. And this fall, we're going to be piloting a hybrid program model where troops will gather at their troop meeting place and they will call in to a hosted program by one of our Girl Scout staff members. So a portion of the program will be the GSWW staff member, leading them through activities, and then they'll break into their in-person breakout rooms now and get to do those activities together with their troops. So we're really excited to see how our members respond to this hybrid model.
So with that change and that shift, I'm assuming that, a lot of people's mindsets had to shift as well. So curious if you can elaborate on that a little bit when it comes to that shift in mindset for your volunteers, for the leaders, and then for, the Girl Scouts themselves, actually.
Yeah, absolutely. Our members are really resilient and they embraced this new way of gathering in a lot of really creative ways. So we saw a lot of thoughtful approaches to how they could continue that Girl Scout experience, virtual troop meetings and virtual trainings, at-home badge kits that were created by and then delivered to the doorsteps of their troop members, which was really cool. And then, we had virtual camp-ins and things like that. So members could go outside and camp at home, but then come inside and log in for a variety of activities. And we've just been really impressed with how everyone has remained committed to the Girl Scout mission and to continuing the experience even amidst the pandemic.
I love those examples for sure. And I think, a common theme that, we hear, whether it is for, volunteer, organizations or, large corporations, when we made a lot of these shifts, into a virtual environment, into hybrid environments, we really had to get creative. And you just showcased there, the creativity of leaders, of getting ideas from other people that, volunteer for the organization. So I think the camping at home is my favorite. I think that's great. I might do it tonight, do a camp. I love that. I think that's so great. That's a really good idea. And I love to hearing how resilient, the members of your community are too, and just wanting to stay focused on still doing this and being active. So I think that's truly great. Have you seen an impact on fundraising at all?
We have. It has definitely had an impact on the council. In the last 18 months, we've become more reliant on grants. And we will continue to rely on those grants until we can stabilize and do more in-person fundraising with larger audiences. We piloted a virtual luncheon, which was really wonderful. And we have other virtual fundraising opportunities that we've done. But we're excited to get back to those in-person fundraising events once it's safe to do so. And, fundraising across the nation has been impacted. So now it's really about educating the online community that it is a new world with new opportunities and new ways to engage in fundraising.
Yeah, definitely, for sure. So yeah, hopefully, the education, it gets better, and a lot of the things, the impact, kind of takes a turn, and things will, get back to some sense of normalcy there. So hoping for that for sure. So obviously the Girl Scouts, relies on a lot of volunteer work, a lot of volunteers coming in and out of the organization. So let's talk a little bit about volunteer recruitment, and, everything during this time. So when it comes to growth, Julie, what opportunities are you seeing, for the volunteer programs? And then to kind of go off of that, are there any new partnerships you have, any new platforms, tools, anything new that's going on there?
Yeah, absolutely. So, it's been really cool that with this shift to virtual, we've been able to engage volunteers who may not have had the ability to travel to our in-person programs in the past. So now they can log in from wherever. We have Girl Scout alumna who are all over the world, and they may not have been able to volunteer with their home council where they grew up, and now they can. And that's been really cool to see. We're also seeing engagement from some of our younger alumni and younger volunteers, the college student who needs to get those community service hours and can now do that and volunteer with Girl Scouts, logging into one of our programs, which has been really wonderful to see. So, all of those opportunities will stay, and we're really excited about that because I think it just increases that engagement. And it has created some new partnerships for us with corporations and community partners. And, we just really want to make sure that we're providing them with the tools and the resources. So, having trainings around how to use platforms like Zoom or Teams or things like that, and just really making sure that they are set up for success when they do come into the organization.
Yeah, that's really important because I think, a lot of people are probably watching right now, maybe you're on a Zoom call every single day and you just don't really think that some people, are not in that environment, but they still want to give back. They still want to be a part of things. So I think that's really great that is a part of the program. You are offering trainings of how to communicate and to keep these activities going in a virtual first, so to say, environment. So
yep.
I think that's really great for sure. And that's exciting, expanding, looking at new partnerships and everything like that. So it's great to hear that a lot of people are coming back and volunteering and being able to. So in regards to recruiting these potential volunteers, though, has the Girl Scouts of Western Washington altered any types of recruitment over the last year? And then are you still rethinking these recruitment strategies?
Yeah, definitely. You know, we evaluate our recruitment strategies every year to talk about what worked and what didn't and what we can do better in the year to come. And in the last year and a half, we've relied heavily on social media and platforms like LinkedIn to connect and engage with potential volunteers and to promote the volunteer experience to those people. Our digital footprint is more important than it ever has been. And I think that would be true for lots of companies and organizations at this point, you know. So we really want to make sure that we are portraying exactly what people can gain from volunteering with Girl Scouts through that online presence. And I think we've seen great success with that.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I love that. And I do like the approach too, of where, you know, you're trying to go out and find volunteers using a platform like social media, for example, but you're also showcasing what it's like to volunteer with the Girl Scouts, you know, so people can understand. I think that's always important for brands to go out. As much as you want people to apply and you want to get more people on board, you have to showcase, listen, what's a day in the life going to be? If I'm going to do this, I need to understand who I'm working with, what it's going to be like. So I think that's super important. It's great that you guys are doing that. So Kim, I'm coming over to you finally with a question. Because I just looking at, you know, nonprofits, you know, volunteer organizations, you know, like holistically right now, are you seeing, you know, from other, you know, clients, partners, things like that, you know, people still trying to go all in on virtual?
You know, I definitely am. I think that there are a lot of hybrid options right now. I recently met with the National Urban League, and they created an entire mentorship program that is virtual, which typically you think of mentors as that one-on-one, they're actually interacting, but from the ground up, they built this program. And I'm seeing that a lot. A lot of different organizations are doing a very similar approach to what you talked about with that hybrid model, the virtual options, and then reaching out in different ways, you know, engaging those corporations in different ways than maybe they have done in the past, and looping in nationwide companies that maybe they were only targeting local organizations in the past. So I've seen it kind of from every organization, from very, very large and spread out across the country down to the smaller ones. Everybody just trying to find the new path and make sure that it's working for everybody.
Definitely. And Julie, you know, anything to add? I know you brought up hybrid a little bit, and then you also brought up some other, you know, virtual ideas and opportunities, but, you know, do you see your organization kind of going down that path of, you know, keeping that virtual like top of mind?
Absolutely. You know, like I mentioned, we've had a really great response to our virtual experiences, both for our adult and youth members. And I think it's here to stay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's a great segment into, you know, the next part of the show and the couple of questions I want to ask the two of you. So it is all about, you know, virtual volunteering and, you know, putting those programs in place and everything like that. So Julie, I'll start with you. So how have you been able to pivot to make sure that you're sustaining volunteer engagement, and programming at the same time?
Yeah, absolutely. So, you know, in addition to the to the virtual learning opportunities, we're doing virtual social hours and things like that. So giving our volunteers an opportunity to gather in an informal setting, I think is just as important as those more formal trainings and programs and things that we do, because we want them to make those connections, especially in this virtual space where connections might be more difficult to make. And so having those informal gathering opportunities, I think, is just as important. And celebrating our volunteers, you know, we have to do that virtually now. And maybe it's a card in the mail instead of an in-person gathering, but really continuing to remain committed to celebrating our volunteers and thanking them for giving of their time.
Yeah, I love that. And I love, you know, it's really about, you know, that community building within the organization, because, you know, they are providing a lot of time back, but having them get to know one another, you know, here's another volunteer that's, you know, giving time back and things like that. You know, I would love something like that. So again, it's, you know, truly great to see that for sure.
Yeah, and getting a card in the mail. Who doesn't love that?
Oh, I know. Honestly, it's like one of the best things ever. I don't know why some people still don't do that. I never get mail. I love getting mail. But it definitely is great. So Kim, I'm curious. So in facilitating, virtual ideas, programs, things like that, how has Sterling Volunteers stepped in here and, helped our clients, our partners and things like that?
Sure, absolutely. So one of the things I was most proud of during the kind of heavy portion of COVID was that we did offer free background checks to a lot of organizations. And the good thing about that is that people didn't know, do we want to screen our virtual volunteers? Do we want to take on that onus? And having that option of a free or a discounted background check really pushed people over the edge. They realized, you know what, I can have them background checked. I can have them properly vetted and in place. And I think that just started the ball rolling. I know in about August of last year, we implemented a discounted program for the Girl Scouts where we offered a little bit of a discount just to get people going, get people back in the mode of volunteering, get people back in that idea of having their background checks submitted. And that was something that I absolutely loved last year. And then as always, I think a lot of our components, the ease of use for our platform and the sharing capabilities, being able to share your background check with other organizations, I think those really help out in those virtual instances.
Yeah, that was something truly great that Sterling was able to provide. I know I loved, seeing that too, and, watching it come to life with, a couple of organizations. So again, love to see that for sure. I want to take a second real quick right now just to remind our audience on Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube, if you do have questions for Julie and Kim or me, I don't know what I can provide you during this show, but do you have questions, please go ahead and send them in and I will field them to the two of them as I see fit. So moving along. So I do want to look at, nonprofits, volunteers, during this time, with COVID health testing, but also too now with, the vaccine and everything, as we move forward and, medically and everything like that. So Kim, how are, like some organizations, but even, the Girl Scouts, the parent one, so Girl Scouts USA, I know it's one of your clients, how is handling COVID-19 health testing and vaccinations going on at a national level?
Absolutely. So because I manage the partnership at a national level, I can see how they funnel things down. And really, they have left it up to the councils because each location is very unique. There's different regulations for each state. There's different requirements that are there. But that is always nice because people can implement different programs as they see fit. And then just there's a broader kind of higher level nonprofit and general scope. I've seen everything, especially with camps. A lot of camps have implemented testing for you to come to camp, or they've implemented just health screenings, different type of things just to make sure everybody is safe and everybody is confident as they show up to these volunteer opportunities.
Yeah. And that truly is the most important thing. People still want to give back, but we want to make sure that everyone's doing it safely. And, again, too, I think it's important to know, like you had said, too, a lot of these organizations do have a lot of ones underneath it. So, kind of understanding and navigating through a lot of uncertainty, but also a lot of different rules, a lot of different regulations. So I think that is, very smart to kind of, look at it as a whole, but then also to, all right, here we are, X, Y, and Z, let's, come with a plan there. So that's great for sure. So building off of, safety, I do want to, go there next because I want to, trust and safety, huge at Sterling, a lot of words we live by. So I do want to bring that into the conversation, when we're talking about volunteer organizations, we're talking about nonprofits, building that trust and safety is truly one of the greatest assets because people are out there serving, your mission. So we have to make sure that these people are safe and obviously that they trust the organizations that they're working for. So Julie, I'll start with you here with this first question. So it's a statement and a question. So we do feel that partnerships are so important to building, trust and safety. So just, your general thoughts on that. Do you agree and everything like that?
Yes, absolutely. And we have systems and processes in place within Girl Scouts of Western Washington to make sure that we are properly vetting our partners and our volunteers through systems like Sterling before they're working with our youth members so that we can make sure that when a Girl Scout is dropped off at a program, that individual's parent or guardian knows that they are going to be safe while they're participating in that program.
Absolutely. And Kim, your thoughts on, partnerships being, crucial to building that trust and safety?
Absolutely. Having that partnership with GSUSA and with the Girl Scouts of Western Washington for so many years, they know that they can count on us. They know that they can reach out to us with any best practices questions, and they feel confident talking to their volunteers and saying, yes, please go to this website and enter your information, because that is, building that trust from the start, from the initial part of the process. So partnerships are just so huge, and making sure we're maintaining those is key.
Yeah, absolutely. So Kim, I'm going to stay with you here because we're going to talk about background screening. So can you provide an overview of background screening and identity services for volunteers? And then, have we made any recent changes in regard to that?
Absolutely. So, the great thing about Sterling Volunteers is that we do have screening packages that are very easy to understand, and I think very cost effective for nonprofits. And, while working with the Girl Scouts, there are standards of screening that are very high, that have been implemented across the country. And a lot of times, things that the Girl Scouts do have influenced other organizations because they're so keen on that safety, making sure renewals are being done. And things that I've seen recently, I think a lot of leaning towards that identity, making sure that person is the person they say that they are. And then customization of the background check. A lot of times when we first kind of started out with Sterling Volunteers, there was this broad picture of what should be screened. And now it's really saying, this person does this, and how should they be screened with different components. And so we've seen a lot of that customization and just kind of drilling down into the detail of what those volunteers are actually doing. So that's probably the newest trend that I've seen emerge in the last few years.
Yeah, and it's been brought up on Sterling Live a couple of times. I think when we do, sit down and talk to some verticals, talk to some regional experts, that customization factor is super important to a lot of clients, a lot of partners. So it's great that you are seeing that trend and you're effectively seeing it. It's a good thing. So yeah, and it's very important because again, nothing's ever going to be a one size fits all. So I think that is super important, especially right now, just given, the shifting of every day. It's a shift something every day. So I think that's very important. Julie, not sure if you want to touch on, you clearly use Sterling Volunteers. You do partner with us, but just, any comments on the partnership.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the thing that our volunteers appreciate the most is the ease with which they can go through the process of getting their background check completed. And we've spoken to this already, but just knowing that their information is safe and secure and that it is a trusted platform from Girl Scouts of Western Washington. And so they know when they're putting their information in that it is not going to be abused or mishandled in any way. And I think that peace of mind, that comfort that comes with that is priceless.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I always love hearing that. So that's great. I'm happy the experience is a good one for sure. All right. So I'd be remiss if I did not bring this up. And I think our audience has probably been waiting for the past 21 minutes or so. Why have we not been talking about Girl Scout cookies? So I do want to bring up the cookies. We have to talk about the cookies. Honestly, Julie, we can just talk about the cookies at a high level, but also too, we truly want to know how we can help with the upcoming season of selling Girl Scout cookies.
Yeah, excellent. I mean, we can't talk about Girl Scouts without talking about cookies. So you're absolutely right.
I'm surprised the comments haven't been flowing in. Send me an order form. Where are my cookies?
Yep. So this year, some of our favorites are back. The s'mores cookie, which was introduced a couple years ago, is always a fan favorite, as well as our gluten-free Toffee-tastic cookie. And then this year, we're debuting a brand new cookie called Adventurefuls, and it is a brownie-like cookie with caramel cream and a little sprinkle of sea salt.
Oh my God. So
I'm excited to try that one.
Wow.
Yep. Absolutely.
I'm so excited.
Yeah. Awesome. So, our Girl Scouts are encouraged to create a digital storefront, and last year's sale was entirely digital.
Mhm.
And so we offer programs to give them the tools to write and then film their own video for their storefront.
That's great.
And they embed that on the website to tell their story. You know, what did they learn through the cookie sale? What is their goal? And talk a little bit about their favorite cookies, that kind of thing. So from those storefronts, customers can order cookies online to be shipped directly to your front door, or for local delivery if you're ordering from a Girl Scout that you know. And so supporting the sale can be done in a variety of ways. Ordering cookies is the easiest and most delicious, right? But then we also are always looking for volunteers to support the sale. So there are a number of ways that people can engage in the sale as a volunteer. And then we also love for companies to host virtual booths where a Girl Scout could log in, and members of the company could also log in, and they could hear her sales pitch live.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
That is such a good idea.
Awesome.
Yeah, we're really excited about that. And, you know, hopefully we'll be back to in person. And so you'll see those smart, confident Girl Scouts out there in front of the grocery stores this year or in 2022. But if not, the virtual booth is definitely the next best thing.
Yeah, and they're not limited by geography. You can order from anywhere. I have bought cookies from Girl Scouts Western Washington, and I'm in Colorado, so get those links out there.
I love that virtual booth idea, and even just the storefront in general. You know, Girl Scouts has always been one of my favorite organizations just because of everything that, you know, these, you know, young children learn at, you know, such a young age, but then also too, as they grow, you know, and get more mature. Like it's so much. And even just that right there, you know, having to build a website, build a presence, you know, why are you selling this? But even talking about yourself as well. So talking about your personal brand. So I absolutely love that. And I obviously love talking about cookies. That new cookie sounds so incredible.
So good.
My OG favorite is the Samoas. They will go down in history as my favorite, but this new one, I don't know. Watch out, Samoas. This new one might be coming for you. It sounds absolutely delicious. So yes, just a reminder to our audience on Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube, if you are watching live right now, you can ask questions for Kim and Julie. Even go ahead, comment your favorite Girl Scout cookie. We will get all of that out there. So but in the meantime, while we wait for any potential questions to come in, I do want to hand it off to the two of you again one final time and gather some final thoughts. Julie, I know you have some areas where you might want to send our audience a couple of websites. So we can go ahead and start with you for final thoughts.
Yeah, absolutely. So if anyone is interested in volunteering, or you know a youth member who might want to join Girl Scouts, please check out the join page on our Girl Scouts of Western Washington website. And then if you have the desire to support Girl Scouts, we also have a donate page, and we would love that support helping us build the next generation of leaders.
That's awesome. I can add those links into the live stream when we are done. I'm in the comment section, so everyone can go and see. And then Kim, final thoughts from you.
Yeah, you know, I'm just so amazed at the partnership that we have with Girl Scouts Western Washington. You all are doing such amazing, phenomenal work, and it really feels great to hear everything that you've done and just be a little bit a part of the program.
Yeah, I love it.
Thank you so much.
Well, yes. And thank you to the two of you for joining me today. It was truly a tremendous episode. I know Julie did just mention some websites, but I do have some other ones for you. So if you do want to learn more about Sterling Volunteers, you can go to sterlingvolunteers.com. And then for the Girl Scouts of Western Washington, you can go to girlscoutsww.org. Again, I will put all of these links in the box so everyone will have them. But again, yes, thank you both for joining me. Thank you to our audience. This was truly an amazing episode. I had so much fun talking about all things volunteer recruitment, engagement, Girl Scout cookies, everything. So thank you both so much.
Sure. Thank you.
Thank you.